Yeah, it's that time of the month where an adult made a decision that affects no one but themselves, and so the internet responded with harassment, misinformation, and just being all around awful. And I'm of course referring to the situation involving Chris Tyson, aka Chris from MrBeast. Which already sounds weird because what could he possibly have done to warrant a video? Nothing. He did literally nothing. See, it all started when someone pointed out a recent shift in Chris's appearance with a clear negative connotation, and Chris responded by revealing he has been on hormone replacement therapy for the last 2 months, which is often used to help people physically match their gender identity. Yeah, that just might be the single most boring statement I've ever made on this channel, yet here we are. Now, this followed several instances of Chris dressing in a way that would generally be considered traditionally feminine, but Chris has specifically stated that they have not yet clarified their gender identity and are comfortable being called any pronoun. And this revelation led to him receiving an insane amount of controversy online, to the point that even MrBeast, a pretty non-combative creator, has come out in strong support of Chris. Because that hate has been coming from everywhere. For starters, Twitter now pushes verified users to the top of most feeds, and verified users are increasingly people that paid for that because they're fans of Elon Musk, a famously transphobic billionaire. So a huge portion of Chris's top responses are just plain mean, going after him as a parent, friend, and person, among other things. Then if you look at TikTok, yeah, I know, Twitter and TikTok back to back, so you know we're getting the best and brightest, but the geniuses on TikTok have taken to combing through an hour-long live stream and taking any moment that isn't filled with pure ecstasy out of context and editing it with sad music or whatever else as definitive proof that everyone around Chris is tortured by the fact that he looks a bit different, but they have to suffer in silence like modern warriors. Hey, fun fact, people are awkward. If you take an hour of any group of people trying to be entertaining with no script, there are going to be awkward moments. That's how people work, right? Then you have content creators who, incredibly, have managed to do all of this, to the point that by responding to just a 9-minute video by SunnyV2, I am pretty much taking on all of the things that people were doing wrong to Chris this week. But who is SunnyV2? Well, he's a YouTuber best known for documentary-style videos on YouTubers and other notable figures. But we're not just talking topical drama and retrospective videos, because those are very common in the commentary and video essay space because it is a provenly reliable way to grow an audience from nothing. Exhibit A, and all of these creators are my Exhibit B. But Sunny is specifically known for videos where he focuses on creators whose careers have gone downhill, often bringing attention to someone's failures long after the fact. Which can suck if you're that creator minding your own business and now suddenly there are thousands of comments pretending like losing relevance is a massive failure on your part instead of the natural life cycle of most content creators. But he most recently made a video on the situation involving Chris, and immediately this video saw tons of backlash, especially from other YouTubers best known for covering online drama, for things that include going into Chris's personal life as a parent and wording speculation as fact. And yeah, I agree that it was not great. So I want to go through Sunny's video and dissect some of his points and explain why they were bad. Because this video pairs a lot of the problems I've already gone over with the discourse around this topic and amplifies them to a whole new level. And before even hitting play, the title was enough to anger MrBeast, as it immediately states that Chris is going to be a nightmare for Jimmy. You'd think Sunny would know how much content creators don't like others speaking on their behalf, but whatever. And just so I can get this off my chest early, why does Sunny's narration sound like Steve Irwin on sleeping pills?
Fortunately, they all live here in Australia.
Prompting replies such as, you went from man to boy.
I'm sorry, I just had to point that out. Anyway, the start of the video is Sunny mostly recapping the situation and trying to investigate the exact timeline of Chris's marriage, which, like, I don't know why you would do that when you're in a position to make literally whatever content you want, but whatever. So I want to focus on how Sunny spends this entire video pretty much dehumanizing Chris and talking about him as if he's nothing more than a prop. Because I am honestly amazed that a content creator of all people would go on to say some of the stuff that Sunny did. First off, you have the whole not understanding that people are awkward thing. Here's what I mean.
Maybe everybody was simply too busy opening packages, but Chris did make these bizarre jokes about Jimmy being female, making him incredibly uncomfortable.
Oh my God, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art? This is what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind, MrBeast.
Yeah, I've said this before, but we can't read minds. How do you know if Jimmy was extremely uncomfortable or was just being awkward? How do you know that Chandler joined in because he was trying to salvage the situation? You don't. And you can edit literally anything to look that sinister. In fact, here's that clip unedited.
Oh my God, Jimmy, look, they drew you. Jimmy, they drew you so well. It looks just like you.
Wait, also, the red hair.
Also, Jimmy,
Oh, yes.
Oh my God, it's Jimmy.
How did fan art devolve into random things?
That's really good. No, to be fair, like,
don't know
you
what
have to
this is,
expect
but it
people are
looks
gonna
good.
flex
This
their
is
art.
what we were looking for. Be brave, be honest, be kind. Mr. Beast. That is my tagline.
Wow. So Jimmy was distracted when Chris was talking, so it took him a second to get back with the program. But Sonny's not being impartial. He's just stating his speculation and opinions as being factual so that he could insert his bias while pretending he's not.
Becoming even weirder when each member started to pay each other compliments.
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
Wow, you mean a room full of guys with almost no background in improv didn't blow you away with their banter? Like, what exactly was weird about that? That is a normal interaction, you just did a slow zoom with sinister music. In fact, here's what that moment looked like unedited.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my I've been goodness. here.
What?
Hey, nice shirt. Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Hey, nice shirt.
Thanks, dude. Nice shirt.
Thanks. Nice shirt.
Nice shoes.
Oh, wow, he's different.
Now, I use the same editing tricks in my videos all the time, but I disclose my opinion so that what I'm doing is transparent. What Sonny is doing is the opposite of that. But okay, that's my problems with his style. Now for the words coming out of his mouth.
This was put forward in many comments supportive of Chris, who implied that there'll be millions of queer kids who look up to him, although this doesn't necessarily mean that it'll add any value to the videos.
Now this is where the video really goes downhill, as Sonny starts implying that in how he expresses himself as a human being, Chris should have taken the MrBeast brand into account. Like Chris wore a headband and crop top because it's how they feel the most comfortable expressing themselves. He didn't do it to add value to the video, you weirdo. And if it sounds like I'm reaching, here are the next words out of Sonny's mouth.
And if we've learned anything from Hollywood in recent years, it's that adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video.
What are you talking about? Chris is a real person, not a character, dude. Also, the reason that LGBTQ characters receive backlash is because they're poorly written as opposed to just existing? Bro, Lightyear got people in a frenzy because of this one clip. That was it. What was over the top about it? The Last of Us 2 featured one trans character whose identity was actually relevant to the plot in a way that made sense, was barely brought up, and frankly, that character was the only enjoyable new character in my opinion, and that got a ton of backlash. Even the comment Sonny pulls up implies that the existence of gay people is pushing an agenda. Why do you need a reason to make a character gay? And it is wild to me that Sonny doesn't even consider that a lot, I'm not even going to say most, but a lot of the narrative that he's citing comes from ignorance disguised as analysis, kind of like this video is in my opinion. Also, I can't imagine why half of the comment that Sonny is using to make a definitive statement of what we learn from Hollywood is blurred. I'm sure it's not because he wanted to cherry pick in order to support his opinion without revealing that a ton of the people who shared that opinion happen to suck. Now I'll admit I'm speculating because that's the ethical thing to do, but is it not weird that that's the only comment he blurred? Also, I shouldn't even have to say any of this because again, Chris is a real human being, not a character. Anyway, here's the next sentence out of his mouth.
Adding over-the-top LGBT characters for the sake of relatability rarely works as intended, and is often nothing more than a distraction from the premise of the movie or video. On top of this, it can be uncomfortable and unrelatable for the silent majority.
Wow, it must be so convenient that whenever you express a garbage take, you just get to go, actually, everyone agrees with me, but they go to a different school, so you can't hear them. That's convincing. Also, if the majority of people are uncomfortable by the existence of a person or character that doesn't look exactly like them, then the majority of people are pathetic. And the fact that Sonny seems to be co-signing this line of thinking by calling it a lesson we've all learned is super weird in my opinion.
Although, as we have seen, a situation like Chris's does have the potential to create an otherworldly amount of discussion, which could be seen as a benefit for the MrBeast brand.
Drama is good for growth, 100%. That would be an easy way to up my
So
views
you're
if
a
I got
Keemstar?
it.
Someone's personal identity isn't drama. But this is just another example of Sonny being more critical of Chris for expressing himself than the people that can't mind their own business, so I shouldn't be surprised.
The problem is this type of situation is probably the last thing that MrBeast wants to attract, as he's forced to agree with Chris's position, as he has no way of manipulating the situation without being painted as the bad guy.
I love when commentary creators do this, dude, where they can't actually provide an argument, so they just make a statement that you can't disprove, such as saying that MrBeast is forced to support Chris when in reality he probably doesn't care how his friend dresses because why would you?
Jimmy has no option but to publicly express acceptance of Chris's transition, as silence or even worse disapproval would come with obvious severe repercussions. However, in accepting Chris's transition, Jimmy implies that this will be the new normal within the content, thus annoying a different group of people, many of whom will never express their true feelings and may rather simply click on fewer MrBeast videos.
Oh my god. Sonny, what the are you talking about? Why does Chris wearing a crop top necessitate you grabbing your tinfoil hat? MrBeast is one of the most influential people in the world. I highly doubt that one of his friends changing how he expresses his gender is really going to matter in the long term. And it's crazy that the evidence that Sonny uses to support this aren't stats or actual experts in this field, but random commenters who don't have their name or face associated with their account. Wow, this video is so convincing. I can't imagine why it's getting such a negative response.
Jimmy has no option but to accept this fate, as removing Chris from the videos in any kind of way could create an even more severe media firestorm. The only clean solution, should things go south, might be for Chris to resign himself, and even then rumors and bad press will be unavoidable.
Bro, nothing has even happened yet. Why are you so eager to jump to Chris needs to jump on the grenade and disappear so that MrBeast can continue appealing to the people that are bullying Chris? Look, I understand that because of people like Sonny, this could put MrBeast in an awkward position, sure, but it's nuts to me to see him exclusively talk about Chris as an extension of a brand that he doesn't even own, and never one, MrBeast's friend, but also two, a whole person. Like, it's so dehumanizing to say that because one of the people in MrBeast's cast doesn't resemble a traditional straight white guy, he's just gotta go. And I could give Sonny the benefit of the doubt of analysis if it weren't for the fact that he never acknowledges that it would be incredibly messed up for bigots to push Jimmy or Chris to that point. He expresses no issue with that scenario, and I think in this context that's extremely telling.
Whether it be arrogance or ignorance, Chris seems oblivious to how this whole thing might impact Jimmy, forgetting that he achieved his current level of success by avoiding this exact type of drama.
Excuse me? So now Chris is either ignorant or arrogant because he wore a headband and crop top and likes to do his nails. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the only person that those two words apply to here is Sonny. Because MrBeast also owes a lot of his success to Chris, as having friends that were willing to appear in all of his videos and fully commit was a huge factor in Jimmy finding success. They have had a mutually beneficial relationship. Also, someone helping you with something doesn't mean you owe them your life. And throughout that entire video, at no point does Sonny ever say that the people harassing Chris are wrong. Never even implies it. His entire video paints Chris as a bad guy for a decision he's made for himself that hurts nobody. And I want to close out this video by acknowledging two of the most common criticisms on this that frankly make no sense to me. One, you have a lot of people justifying their attitude towards Chris by saying he's a father and they think that this is harmful for his child. Yeah, fun fact, if you criticize everything that a parent does that you disagree with, you suck. For example, I don't agree with presenting a religion to a child as being objectively true, because it often includes punishing your child for asking completely normal questions and takes advantage of the fact that you could present your beliefs as fact to that child before they're able to understand the difference. And you know what I say to the parents when I get invited to a baby's baptism? Congrats, because I can just make those decisions for my own kids instead of targeting anyone who does anything I disagree with. And also, I've said repeatedly that I think this whole thing is not really worth having a discourse about because who cares how someone identifies? But if you say that to someone spouting ignorance, they respond by saying, oh, if no one should care, then why are you saying anything? Which is the coward's way of saying, I get to spout hatred for things that have nothing to do with me, but I can't defend my points at all. So I'm going to resort to incorrectly calling you a hypocrite so that I can run away and hide. Like, personally, I can't stop the fact that a dialogue is being had about this, but I can at least unpack, disprove, and make fun of the ignorance that I've observed, even if it comes from the people who you'd really think would know better. But on the bright side, at least we know that Sunny V2 is going to one day get to make a Sunny V2 video on the downfall of Sunny V2 with a whole chapter titled How I Burned Every Bridge with Every Other Content Creator in My Niche with just one video. Now that's a video we can all look forward to.